Hello to you all awesome grade 11 mindsetters. This is yet another great edition of your Learn Extra Live with me, AB, and I'm not alone in the building. I'm joined by Mr. Lou himself. How are you, sir?
Right in yourself. You keeping well?
I'm also good. It's quite a sad day for me, hey?
What?
Because I won't be seeing you.
Oh, no. No, hold on. Don't destroy my day. It was fine until now.
Really? Okay, let's say, okay, well, it's fine. The mindsetters don't know about that. We'll tell them later.
Yeah, well,
Because I can't handle bad news, hey? I just need to share, hey?
It happens.
Otherwise, what are we doing today?
We're doing, if you have a look, food security and loss of biodiversity.
Are we eating something?
And I wish.
You wish?
I wish. I'm starving.
Oh. Well, we'll be drinking my water. It's fine.
That's good enough for me.
All right. Well, I'll tell you about it. I think also it's some part of revision for grade 11s. I believe so.
Say
In a
that
way.
again?
Is it a new topic for grade 11s or it's just part of revision also?
No, what we do, it's revision, but the most important thing that you've got to understand is you need it for next year. So
Okay.
they've got to concentrate and they've got to understand this. Otherwise, it's not going to get taught in grade 12, but you've got to write a test on it. So hopefully you've got your minds going.
Better be ready. Otherwise, we're here to upskill you and to empower you as mindset. Talking about empowerment and mindset. Last week, we took you through to the Samsung Learning Hub, how you can get the content there because it's such a great technology innovation. But now, let me tell you that we have a competition which is called the Learn Extra Exam Revision Marathon Competition. All that is needed from you is to watch our live shows and then also watch our exam revision, which is starting next week on the 14th of October. Then after, download the notes. On the notes, on the last page, there is a race number for you. So it's more like we're on a marathon.
That's it.
So you get a race number. Then what you need to do with that race number.
Yeah.
Are you ready? It's
I'm
like
listening. I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. Right. You get a race number. Then what happens with the race number? You need to complete an entry form, which is found on the Mindset website. I'll be giving you the link on the website, on our Facebook page. Right. After that, you'll be standing a chance of winning 3 awesome Mindset tablets or 1 of 3 notes and 1 of 3 tabs. So those are the awesome prizes that we have for you. Otherwise, stay tuned because on the page, I'll be giving you more details about the competition. We're all up and ready. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/LearnExtra, or on Twitter, follow us at LearnExtra. Back to you, Llewellyn.
I'm ready for the race. When are we starting?
We're starting now.
Oh, I'm going to run. Okay, we're looking at food security and loss of biodiversity. Okay, it's quite simple, but we have a bit of a problem between the two of us. We're going to learn something new together. Are you ready for this? You are going to learn about food security and biodiversity, and I'm going to learn how to draw on the board with my finger, because I cannot find the pen for the life of me. I don't know where this pen is. But anyway, let's go for it. Okay, so if we have a look at it, what we're going to do in this lesson, okay, we're going to try and get through food security, right, and availability, because it's different things, okay? Then we're going to have a look at the loss of biodiversity, because that's very important, especially for us. Especially for us, we need to try and stop that. And then we're going to have a look at discarding of solid waste, okay, or disposing of it. Now, disposing of solid waste is a bad thing. I mean, where you send all your rubbish is what we're looking at. Okay, so let's begin. Now, understand there's a lot of writing and not much pictures. So try and concentrate, and I'm going to try and put it in the easiest way I possibly can. Right, okay. So food security is the definition for it, right? So it's defined as the following. When all people at all times have access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, okay? First of all, they must have access to it. It has to be sufficient, okay? It has to be safe, and it has to be nutritious, okay? That's very, very important. And it must be able to maintain, right, a healthy and active life. That is what food security is. Now, if I had to say to you, I'm sure you've all watched these shows where they go out into the wild and they eat a bug, right? Hey, have you seen that, Abby?
Not really.
Oh, you know where they pick up these ants and eat the ants
Oh,
quickly?
yes,
Hey?
yes. I've
Oh,
seen that. Even on Fear Factor, I get that a lot.
yes. Okay, now, that's what I fight with. Is that a healthy living? Because, of course, there's protein in all these bugs, right?
Mm.
There's protein in the bugs, but
But are there people doing that every day?
maybe. I wouldn't know. It
Okay.
depends on what food they get. But the question is, it might have, right, hold this, it might be, let me just find it. You might have access to it. Okay, this is cool. You might have access to it. I'll run out in my garden and go fetch an earthworm. Huh? How cool is that? Right, one of these. Okay, one of those. Access to it, right? It might be safe. Oh, it's not the end of the world. It's an earthworm. Okay, there's nothing poisonous in it. Okay, here we go. Nutritious. It's got a bit of protein in there. Hey, what do you think? A bit of protein. Okay, and I suppose it could keep us healthy. I mean, just a bit of protein fills us up in that, right? The problem is sufficient. That's the one I'm looking for. Sufficient. How many earthworms do I have to eat to get full?
Sure, a lot.
That's the
A
problem.
lot.
By the time I've dug them all up, I'm not going to have enough food, right? I'm going to be tired and hungry again. Okay, so each one of these things have to be there to be able to be food security. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay, so food security is when you have access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food, and it must be able to maintain a healthy living. Okay, so that is food security. Now, this whole definition, right, came from the World Health Organization, and they put it down in 1996. Okay, now, the 4 aspects of food security are, so what they looked at to be able to see food security. Okay, the first one, food availability. Okay, how difficult is it to get food? Okay, what do you think, AB? How difficult is it to get food here in South Africa?
It's not difficult as long as you have money and you can make means.
Oh, there we go. I like that. As long as you have money.
And you can make means.
Well, that's a bit of a problem. What happens if you don't have money?
You can make means like agricultural stuff, farm.
Okay, now think about these guys that sleep under the bridges and that.
You beg.
So you got to find some way, am I right? Okay, so that is availability, is how you going to get that food. Okay, it's very, very important. Next one, accessibility. Okay, to have access to that food. Now, I cannot remember what year. I think it was 1986 or 83 or somewhere around there, right? It was in Ethiopia. They must have had that big drought. Okay? Can you remember that big drought? And what actually happened in that big drought came along and Ethiopia was going to starve to death. Okay, so what they did is they had this huge concert where everybody came to sing and they made money and people brought food, and with that money that they brought even more food, and all those ships stayed at the docks, and nobody was allowed to go there because this person wasn't going to give to that person and this person wasn't going to give to that person, and all that food just rotted. How nice is that? So what a waste of food. Okay,
Sure.
Now that's accessibility. Okay, you're not going to see the guys that are very poor having foie gras or something like that. I think that's a certain stomach or liver or something of the duck. I wouldn't know because I don't eat it. Right? And what's those fish eggs? What do you call those? I'll get back to it. Right. So caviar, that's it. It's caviar, right? Can you imagine the poor eating caviar? It's very, very expensive. Now, that's accessibility, right? It is there, you can have it, but you can't access it, right? So that's the next thing we look at. And then food utilization is how do they use the food? I mean, we all say here in South Africa, right? We have nice apples, we have nice oranges, right? We've got some good grapes, right? Pineapples, all of that, bananas. Am I right? We have a wide variety of food. How do we use our food? Do we eat it? Abby, what do you think? Do we eat all our food?
Yes, we try.
We try. Well, let me tell you this, that we actually export a lot of it. All the good stuff, the big, I mean, have you seen, what was that the one day that I saw? It was huge. It was about this size, an apple. Hey? Now, we send that overseas, and we get the small ones. Okay, which is unfair. Now that utilization is, what do we do with our food? We send it away to get money. Okay, what about feeding it to our animals? Hey, what do you think? Like to pigs and all of that, we use that type of food to feed other animals except for ourselves. Okay, last one, what about biofuel? You've heard of biofuel. It's much better than petrol. Hey, what do you think, Abby? Much better than petrol, right? But they use our food to do that. Okay, now, that whole thing is very important. That's what they looked at. Excuse me. That's what they looked at, and they came up with exactly what we need, right? Nutritional, keeps you healthy, accessibility. Do you understand where they came with that definition for it? Right. Food system stability is the next thing I'm going to have a look at, okay? How stable are we going to get our food? Now, if I have a look at this, I've got a nice diagram here. Now, this diagram is quite a cool diagram. This diagram has got to do with how many people are on the earth in a certain amount of years, okay? Not too difficult, but I want you to watch, because this is very, very, very important, especially with this part, okay? Now, first of all, I know it's people because if I look at the y-axis, it tells me what we're going up on, okay? The x-axis, this is important. It's about BC, which is before Christ, right? And AD is after, okay? After death. Okay, so if we have a look at that, and it says here, 2.5 million years ago. There it is, 2.5 million years ago. Then they've got 7 million, 6 million, 5 million, 4 million. Now, that is 4 million years before me, this part of our lives, right? 4 million years ago. That's very bad, okay? So, 4 million years ago, all the way up to 2011. Okay, so that's a long time ago. Now, I want you to have a good look. Look how little people there were. Okay, there they are. Okay, they're increasing slightly as they're going through the different years, and all of a sudden, it starts coming and shooting up. Okay, we start increasing, we start populating this earth. Okay, now, if you know your, how do I say it, your graphs in that, right? This is a geometric graph, roundabout, this part here, just this piece here, okay? Because that piece starts showing a J-shaped graph, which means we are breeding like it's going out of fashion. Now, if we're breeding, now we start looking at the problems we get with extra breeding. Okay, because the breeding is the most important thing we're looking at, because I've always seen myself as a virus. Okay, and I know it sounds bad. Hey, AB, are you a virus? But
yes.
Why are you a virus? Can you tell me why you're a virus?
Because I'm influential.
No, you're influential. I like that. Think about us. Think about us. I mean, a virus comes into the body, it reproduces like it's going out of fashion, till that body doesn't want to or can't survive anymore, then it leaves and goes to the next one. You know what I'm trying to say? So what do? We on the earth, we start destroying as much as we possibly can. We breed, nothing's stopping us. Do you understand why I see myself as a virus? A very nice virus, because I think I'm pretty, but you get my point. Okay, now, that's what I see over there. Now, if I have a look at the next slide, food security, okay? Now, food security is very, very, very important, okay? Now, I know, guys, that I'm telling you a lot of facts and all of this, but you must understand that this section is all about understanding, okay? You've got to be able to get this into your head and interpret it, okay? Because the interpretation of this is the most important thing. You've got to understand it to be able to answer the questions in the specific part. General knowledge comes in here. So you need to gather as much facts as possible and keep it for the exam, okay? So, scientists who study, okay, the different levels of resources, okay, so they study the different levels of resources. What are resources? Let me just put it out there, okay? It's very simple. Your resources will be your food, your water, and your energy, okay? They study that and see how much we actually have, okay? Now, if we run out in those, we're going to be in trouble. I mean, think about it. If we don't have enough energy, look at what is it like going through what's that stuff when where the lights go out for an hour or 2 hours? Load shedding. That's it, the load shedding, right? If we have a look at load shedding, who moans if load shedding happens? AB, do you moan if there's load shedding?
Yes.
Oh, me too. How can I watch TV if there's load
You
shedding?
can't do anything.
Exactly. You can't. I love that. You can't do anything. No, that's
Not
rubbish.
really anything.
You can't read anything. Oh, now we're on all the different tablets and that, right? We can't read anything. So do you understand where we're coming from? Energy is very important. And where does that energy come from? Like the coal, for instance, right? Water. Okay, I reckon that's our next war. Going to be over water. I'll explain that just now as well. And of course, food. They need to see how much food is available for what we want to do. Okay, let's go through it. They argue that a certain point in the Earth's life cycle, okay, we're going to start increasing and decreasing, right? So certain points in the Earth's life cycle with continued human exploitation growth or exponential growth, right? If they're going to keep growing more and more and more and more, what is going to happen? We're going to exceed the Earth's carrying capacity. Now, carrying capacity. Now, if I have a look at that and I try and put it in the best way possible, the Earth is going to sink. Right, AB? Mm-hmm. Right, we're going to be all on the Earth and all of a sudden it's going to feel like we fall out of a helicopter and just drop because we're in the middle of in space, right? And carrying capacity is how much weight this Earth can take, and then the Earth is going to fall. Am I right, AB?
Yes.
See, he's not concentrating with me. He's
You
playing
are right
on
because
Facebook.
you know why? You know why I'm saying you're right?
I want to hear
It's
this.
because I was watching also World War.
Yeah.
Do you know the movie?
Yeah.
It's the same thing that you're talking about.
Okay, but the Earth is just
that's
going to
why
fall.
I agree with you.
Oh, no. So you get the sun over here, you get the Earth over here, and they're doing all this spinning, and then the carrying capacity in the Earth just going to fall. Hey, that's never going to work for me. Carrying capacity. When I get back, you've got a few minutes. I want to know what carrying capacity is. Send it through. Right.
I'd like to find that out too. Otherwise, my sisters, if you haven't entered for the competition, you still have a chance. The link is on Facebook. Remember, you can only enter once. So if you've already gotten the race, stand that chance. Just hold your thumbs because you might be winning one of those awesome prizes that we have proudly sponsored by Samsung. Otherwise, see you after the break. Welcome back, awesome pre-matriculants, and that's soon to change because now we're promoting you to the grade 12 slot. Next week, the 14th of October, we're moving you up from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. That's your new time slot as grade 11s. So no more pre-matriculants, you are our matriculants now.
That's it?
That's so cool, hey?
That is cool.
Right. Let's talk about the question that you asked about capacity.
Yeah, I said, what is carrying capacity? Is that when there's the Earth can't carry you anymore, and then it just falls down. So the rest of our lives, we're just going to be falling in space.
Just
right,
like the
because there's
movies.
no ground unless we fall to a specific part, and then we bounce back up again. Is that what it is?
Let's find out. Mafatla says the maximum number of individuals a particular environment can support for a long time.
That's it. And who else? There was more.
There's Felicity. Felicity says carrying capacity is the population at which the environment cannot support any further increase in numbers.
That's perfect. Okay? That is a definition. That is perfect. I'm glad you guys are learning your definitions.
How many
and
marks?
hopefully, they did that right from when they saw it to type it quickly and didn't go look in their books, right? Because looking in your books is pointless, right? You got to know the stuff off by heart. But if you didn't, at least you went to go find the answer, which means you will not forget it, which is cool. Hey, right? So let's get straight back onto. And of course, I'm going to change colors because I'm bored with yellow. So we've done the yellow, and that's for the guy thing, and now we're going to go pink for the girls, right?
Sure.
So I think that's good.
Sure.
Food insecurities or worries, right? So worries about food. Now, you've got these guys that are sitting there and they're saying, hold on. Our humans are increasing like you have no idea, okay? Now we're starting to worry about the food, okay? Because if we do not worry about the food and we just keep breeding, we're going to be in trouble, okay? Certain things are going to happen, okay? So let's have a look at it. This arose quite nicely, is that when they came up with this, the result that they predicted, okay? So they predicted the world overpopulation, okay? If the world overpopulates, it's a huge thing, okay? The cause of food insecurities are, so if we overpopulate this earth, okay, we're going to find out that these are the following things that's going to be a problem, okay? Now, we can do a lot, but there's some things that we are going to face, and no matter what happens, this is the outcome of it, right? So let's have a look. Unstable social and political environment. Now, what does that mean? Okay, wars. There's going to be fighting over things. Food, water. I mean, if you've got no space to grow crops, what is going to happen? Right? You're going to starve. You're not going to be able to eat. There's going to be no space. Can you understand why you've got to be able to pull things from all over the place to answer these questions? These are very important. The next thing, okay, the growing population, or where am I? There it is, sorry. The growing population or overpopulation, okay, there's going to be too many people. And if there's too many people, it's going to be hell. There's going to be nothing left. No food, no water. Okay? Now, I want you to think about this very carefully. 1% of all our fresh water on Earth is only, so all our water on Earth, 1% is fresh water. Okay? 2% is in the ice caps, right in the South and North Pole. Hey? 2% of our water is in the caps, right, as ice. The rest, which is how much? Let's see how good your maths is.
97%.
Brilliant. Okay? 97% of our water is salt water. Okay? Now, if you shipwrecked and you've got no water, the best thing to do is drink seawater. Am I right?
Mm.
No. He would die. Right?
No.
He would never make it. What do we find in salt water?
It's
Salt.
It's salt.
It's salt, which is going to dehydrate you even more, which is even worse, right? So we can't drink the salt water. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay, there we have here. Natural resources, in other words, water, good soil, energy, etc. All of those things, right, are going to, all of these things already, if I put it this way, are uneven on a global scale. In other words, we need them, we cannot get them. Okay, we need them, they're difficult to get hold of. That's why we buy food and we sell food and we export and we import. Okay, because we need it. Very important, we need it. Okay, and another thing is, for example, when we are talking about food and that, if you are sanctioned off, like in apartheid, can you remember, well, you won't remember apartheid, but you've heard about it.
Yes.
Right, same as me, I can't remember it, I've heard about it. Okay, now, the rest of the world cut us off, am I right? You've heard about that as well.
Yes.
We couldn't play rugby overseas or anything, eh?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we weren't allowed to trade with anybody either, okay? So it became a bit of a problem. We couldn't get food from them, we couldn't get anything from them. They wouldn't even accept things from us. Okay, so that's a social thing. We need that. Without that, we cannot survive enough. Okay, so it's very important to have that communication between them. Okay, that's why we're unstable. It's because we can do it now, but there's not enough of it. Okay, then climate changes, droughts and floods. Now, how is that going to affect? Okay, if we keep destroying things, right? If we keep destroying things, you must understand that the earth is going to, the earth changes as it happens, and then you start getting floods. And if there's floods in some places that's never had rain, and there's drought in other places that don't have there's floods where there was never rain, and there's droughts where there's always rains, there's going to be certain animals that's going to suffer. And you know and I know, if you take one of the things out of a food chain or a food web, things are going to get destroyed. It's going to mess up everything, so we cannot have that. So it's not just a small little change, it's big, right? It's huge, okay? Then, poor farming practice. Come on, Avi. Tell me something about farming practice. Come on.
I think we've lost that because of the times now, and different areas are being affected because of the different structures, the way our environment is being structured, because a lot of people are not practicing it because they buy things. So there's an easy way of getting things, but though at the long run we'll lose because of supply.
Okay. Farmers. Okay. Is it easy to become a farmer? That's the main question. You know, farms get passed on from generation to generation because the parents teach them how to do things. And then there's farm schools where you actually learn how to do things. Okay, now, this here, poor farming practices are very, very important. Okay, we need to look after our things. So, you've heard about a thing called crop rotation. Have you heard about crop rotation? Let me explain to you what it's about. Okay, so there's a man's farm, right? You happy? I hope you're all watching. There's a man's farm. And what he does, he divides it into 4. Okay, so he takes it like this. And he divides it into 4. Plain, simple. Now, 4 equal parts. I know that doesn't look equal. Right. This year, he farms on this piece only. Right? He leaves the rest. The next year, he only farms on this piece. Okay, I'm going to erase so that you can see what I mean. Okay, pen. Okay, the next year he only farms on that piece. And while that piece is growing, he fertilizes this piece again. The next year he farms on this piece. Okay, and he lets this one get fertilized and this one get fertilized. And then the following year he farms on this piece, right? And he lets the other 3 get fertilized. Have you noticed how he's returning the soil? Right? He's returning all those nutrients and everything to the soil. Hey? And that's very important because whatever you take out, you've got to give back. Okay, so that is called crop rotation. Whereas if you just farm on this whole thing the whole time, okay, you're not going to be able to keep that soil for a very long time. Okay, it's not going to be as fertile as you want it. Okay, then alien plants and other reductions of, or should I say, reductions of agricultural land. Now, what does that mean? Alien plants. Alien plants. That came from Mars. Hey, alien plants. Alien plants go, no. Okay, alien doesn't mean it comes from Mars. It means it comes from a different area. Like, for example, a blackjack, right? That came from overseas somewhere. Okay, now the problem is, it comes to our area, okay, and when it comes and plants its seed over here, because our environment is so nice and warm and our soil was so rich, off it went, okay, and it takes over everything. It even kills the natural environment that's there, okay. It sucks up all the water quicker than the other stuff, okay. So it's an alien plant. It can destroy indigenous things. Do you understand? Alien plants are not good, okay. And then the reduction of agricultural land, which means what? We have to make the land smaller, or farms are going to start getting smaller to make space for where people have to live. Okay? So instead of having 30 hectares of farm where you can do all your different farming, now all of a sudden, from that 30 hectares, we bring it down to 10. Okay? Now we can only farm 10. And with that 10, you need to do crop rotation. And if you do crop rotation on that, it's not going to be enough food. You get where I'm coming from? These are big problems. Okay? Now, the next one. There we go. Loss of wild crop variation. That sounds a bit strange. Loss of wild crop, okay, variation. Variation means different types. Now, if I have a look at it, I'm going to take, let me just read the bottom one as well, and we're going to do both at the same time. It makes it easier. Right. Biodiversity or loss of greater dependence on genetically engineered fruit. Okay, now, genetically engineered fruit. What does that mean? That means that we have gone and we have affected the fruit. We have taken them genetically and we've changed it to make it suit us. Okay? For example, we take an apple and make it sweeter, right? We take a lemon, maybe make it bitter. I don't know, right? Or they make an apple nice and big. Or avocado pears that grow normally, yeah, right? It's simple, like wild fruit, right? And we take that and we change the genetic makeup to make a specific fruit nice and big, right? Now, that there is genetically engineered fruit, okay? The problem is, because we've done that, we're happy with drought-free maize, right? So whether it's cold or hot or not enough water, this stuff will grow, but, okay? The problem is we take that seed and we plant it again, and we take the same seed the very next year and we plant it again. So we've only got that type of DNA with it, right? Or we've only got that type of genetically modified plant, right? When they used to do it, we used to get all different types, okay? It came from different plants. They actually changed, right? They changed with the time. Sometimes they were sweeter, sometimes they were more bitter, right? Now we get the same thing over and over again to make it mass production so that we can use it all the time. Do you understand? So there's no variation in species, the wild things that we used to get. Now all plain, simple, genetically modified fruit. They look like this size, and we're happy with it. Okay, so that's the only way we're going to get it done nowadays. Okay, so that is another thing. And then lastly, wastage. What do we do with the waste? Okay, waste is a big problem. I'm talking about plastic, for instance, or your TVs, right? That's also a problem. I'm not talking about like the millies, I don't know how else to say it, the millie plants, right? They cut off the millies, they cut down the stalk, and they let their animals roam through it and eat that, because that's recycling it, right? That's quite nice. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about waste, stuff that we're not going to use. How are we going to change it? What are we going to do for it? Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, loss of biodiversity. We all know what biodiversity is, right? I'll get to it later, but I want you to start thinking of the definition. So when I ask it, right, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Start thinking about it. Right, now, biodiversity refers to the number and variety of different types of species of an organism in an area. Okay, refers to the number and variety of different types of species. What does that mean? Maybe. Are you with me here today?
I am.
Okay, so let me hear. What do you think that means? If you just had to read it, what do you think it means?
It refers to the number.
Let's go. So number,
variety
like
of different
50?
types of species of organism in an area.
So give me something that's simple.
That's very simple. Let me think about that.
I'll let him think about
Yeah.
it. We'll come back to you on that one. Okay, right. Biodiversity is maintained, okay? We maintain it through ecosystem services. These services are, okay? We're going to have a look at what those services are. Are you getting there yet?
Mm.
Do you understand?
I'm thinking.
You must think, okay? And don't Google it. Okay. Okay. Provisioning, okay, means how are we going to look at it, okay? The services, if we have a look at provisioning, is what we see and how we're going to stop it, right? So, it provides us with food, fresh water, fibers. Now, don't think like I thought in the beginning, right? Because I'm sitting there and I'm getting all this knowledge for you guys, and I'm saying to myself, okay, fibers. The only fibers that came into my head was cornflakes. You know, like all bran flakes or something, right? And they go into your stomach and they create that fiber. It's not that, right? Do not think like I think, because that was bad. I was like embarrassed when I saw that.
Sure.
We're talking about fibers like cotton, right? Wool, those type of fibers that can help us out, right? Now, different fibers, medicine, and fuel. We're going to use this. How are we going to use it? Provisions. We need to keep it for the future, right? Then you get the next one. Regulating services, which regulate, of course. They tell you, okay, you can use so much, or you can't use so much, or you can do this, or you can do that. They regulate things, okay? They regulate the climate, the floods, diseases, and water. Okay, they regulate how much water there is, how much floods there are, right? We're having a look at diseases, okay, because diseases are in certain parts of area, and it doesn't mean that nobody can get disease, it just means some of them do. Okay, now, purification. Okay, water purification is what we use. Next one, supporting services, and I'm going to stop it there. So look at me. Okay, the thing was supporting services. I want you to think, or give me one thing where it's a supporting service. Let's see how good you are, and send me an answer. Just something small. Let me see how good you are.
right after the break, we'll be taking your answers. Post them on Facebook. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/learnextra. You know it by now. Don't move. See you after this. Welcome back, awesome grade 11 mind setters, soon to become our matriculants, because we like promoting people. So from next week, don't forget, make sure that you understand that next week you'll be promoted to the grade 12 slot from 6 o'clock to 7 p.m. But now I have some answers for you, Lou.
Did it wrong. Why do you think I'm standing in front of the board? I don't want you to see it. So let's hear what they said.
Yeah, let's see what they say. Vincent says, sometimes home chores might make you miss a lot of information, but at least I'm done now. That's the first comment. Just generally. Here's an answer from Togozani. Just wanted to scare you in that one. Well, Togozani says, supporting services are things that support production of food, such as regulating soil to its fertile and availability of seeds. Nell, here's Nell. Nell says, taking fish from the dam and put them in the fish tank. I think the tank will be supporting service because it will assist the fish to live longer, no predation, and there are enough food to eat, and etc.
Yeah, you know what the problem with that is? It's all fair and well doing things like that, where you take a fish out and put it into a tank. Okay, but it's not its normal environment. Like, how about I take a lion out of the Sahara and put it in a cage? Okay, it hasn't grown up in a cage. It's still got that wild hunting look in its face. You know what I'm trying to say? That vicious lion, and then let's put it in a cage. I mean, do you understand? It's not the same. It's not supporting anything, right? I can understand breeding them or taking them into captivity and breeding them there and releasing them back into the wild. Yes. But not taking them from the wild and keeping them into captivity to keep them there safe. It doesn't work like that.
So there's some energy involved.
Yes, I mean, if they want, let's say, if they want to keep turtles, for instance, okay, they'll catch 2 turtles, they will breed, or they'll see where they are, they'll take those eggs, they'll keep them in captivity, they'll breed those bunch, then start letting go as they come along, right? So there's a couple of things that we're trying to look at. Okay, so we're trying to keep them in the wild, not in captivity. Okay, now, first person, who was that again?
Togozani.
Togozani, I'm telling you, I hear your name often. Am I right? Togozani answers the questions like this. Wow, right? Now, you are absolutely right, okay? It is about soil, right? And dispersal of seeds, okay? It's very important, the dispersal of seeds and the soil. We need to put the nitrogen and the phosphates back into the soil. We need to make sure our soil is rich so that we can get the best quality food, okay? And if we over-farm, it's not going to be the same. You understand where I'm coming from? Okay, now, cultural services as recreation, okay, and ecotourism. Those two are very important. Okay, why is it important? Because beauty. I don't care who you are, but beauty is beauty. Am I right? Right? There's nothing else. I mean, to step. I don't know if you've ever been there. Have you been to God's window?
Yes.
Hey?
Yes.
And you stand there and you look out and you see that beauty.
It's just amazing.
It's breathtaking.
It's just amazing.
Right? Just think about the falls,
Victoria Falls?
There, Victoria Falls, standing there and seeing that beauty. You know, that is tourism, right? They've got all the plants and everything there. People go and see that, okay? They pay a lot of money for that. Ecotourism makes your country even better. The more money you get in, the more you can do for your environment and for the farming and everything. It's a big, big thing. I mean, think about it. If you're farming a lot and tourists come in, they have a look at your area, they pay to come and have a look at your area, you have more money to sustain that area, it's better for us. Right, so ecotourism is a very big thing. Okay, now, I want you to have a look at this. Okay, this is off topic, but it isn't, right? And in grade 10, which I remember not even an hour ago, Aslam, right? And he mentioned the Paleozoic and the Mesozoic areas. Can you remember that? Okay, now, this is very strange. Well, this is, okay, extinction over time. Okay? Extinction over time. Between 600 and 300 million years ago, okay, certain things became extinct. And between 300 and till today's, other things have become extinct. And if you have a look at it, it's certain periods. Okay? So the extinction rate, that's how high it goes. Okay? Now that is there because of certain things, like your volcanoes, okay? Your droughts, your floods, okay? A lot of things can die out. And that's what I'm trying to show here. Now, they can't control it. We try our hardest to control it. How do we stop extinction? That's another thing we need to look at. How do we as humans stop extinction? Now, I'm not talking about humans. Okay, I'm not talking about humans. I'm talking about everywhere else. Okay, we need to stop extinction. Okay, we need to stop it because remember the food chain and the food web, they work on each other. Okay, and we can. The only way we can do it is by stopping messing around with our environment. Okay, so don't take over the environment to farm. Leave it the way it is. I know that the Pilanesberg, you know where the Pilanesberg is?
No.
Near Sun City. Eh?
Okay.
Near Sun City. It is a beautiful game reserve. Now, I went through there and we were walking around and all of a sudden there's this plaque on the one wall and it was giving us some information. How that area was farms. Farms, like normal farms where they used to grow fruit and vegetables and all of that. Right? And what they did was somebody bought it over and they had to start from scratch to rebuild it up into a nature reserve. I mean, how beautiful is that? That is just, somebody thought of something amazing. That was just, that really got to me. Right, so that is cool. Now, okay, next thing we got to have a look at, waste disposal. Okay, this is where the problem comes in. Why do we pay for plastic bags? Do you know, Abby?
Why we pay for plastic bags?
Yeah, why do we pay for plastic bags?
Because we need to, besides putting our stuff on them,
Yeah.
making.
Forget about it. We used to get plastic bags for free when I was younger. But
It's
you'd walk in there and they'd just pack it with a plastic bag. They didn't ask you if you wanted plastic bags. They said, put.
I think it's because there's many of us, and then that increases the number of food that we buy. So we need to get ways of giving back.
Have you noticed how he's like sucking it from deep down inside? What is plastic bags? It's plastic. How do we get rid of plastic?
By making people pay for it.
No, but if you think about it, how do we dispose of plastic bags? How does it go into the earth and decompose and, you know, become rich? And
No.
Not going to happen.
No.
So now what happens is they say, 5 cents for a plastic bag. You're thinking, yeah, but there's 2 things, I'll carry it. Right? Don't waste a plastic bag. You see how clever they've become. Okay.
Promoting recycling also.
Exactly, and that's what we're having a look at now. Right, so if we have a look at it while changing the pen color, cool. Now, increasing in human population increases in waste. Now, waste, as I said, I'm not talking about feces. Not that waste. Hey? I'm talking about the stuff that we use and we cannot use any further and we put it in our dustbin. Okay? So, the higher the population, the human population, right, we consume more. So we create a huge amount of waste, such as household, right, which is, come, give me something that's household. Come, Abby, give me something. Domestic waste, household things, handy-andy, right? Handy-andy, the bottles, the plastic bags, right? All of those things. We buy more because we have more and we need it, right? So what do? Domestic waste, we get rid of it, right? What about electronic waste? What is electronic waste?
It's all PC, hardwares, components.
Nice. PCs and hardwares. Okay? That is a big thing. Next thing, industrial waste and hazardous waste. Industrial waste and hazardous waste. Okay? You might think, oh, you know what? It doesn't matter, right? Maybe to you it doesn't, okay? Let's say maybe to me it doesn't. And I'm thinking to myself, by the time I die one day, right, I would have lived my life, I've seen everything, who cares about the rest? Think about your grandkids and your grandkids' grandkids, right? They want to see it. And the only way they're going to see it is if you protect it. Okay? Now they want to know how to get rid of all of these things. Okay? That's what we need to have a look at. And look here. Any waste material that is considered to be no further use of our own. So we don't need any more of that waste, or any more of that product, that is classified as a waste. Okay? Simple, easy, and effective. Waste needs to be disposed of in a safe manner. Okay? Not out the window of the car. Right? These guys driving and they're giving it horns and they take a bite out of their sweet and paper out the window. No, but that's not safe. Okay? Put it in your pocket and go put it in a dustbin. Okay? And sometimes walking 2 extra steps to the dustbin is also doing the right job. Hey? Don't just throw it on the ground. If you're going to play basketball and throw it in the dustbin and miss, be a gentleman and a lady and go pick it up. Right. Okay, cool. So we need to get rid of it safely to make sure that our environment is 10 times better and is happy and we can get through it. Right. Now, landfills. What is a landfill? Well, I'm going to explain it to you. Landfill is when they take all this rubbish, okay, and they throw it into this hole. Now, normally, it's, for example, it's a deep hole, as I was saying, okay? It's normally your quarries and your mines. You know, they've dug all the gold out or whatever. They fill it up with that, okay? So they fill it up with all the rubbish, okay? Now, this is a very clever idea, okay? When they've done that, right, they put all the solid waste and that inside there, and they bury it, okay? They bury it, and they let the sand go between all the different layers. Okay, and they bury it nice and deep. And the reason why they bury it nice and deep is so that it's isolated. Okay, it's isolated from the rest or the top, the ground. Okay, and that means all that gas or all that decomposition gas that comes out, which is methane gas that comes out from there, doesn't escape and it goes into the earth because into the atmosphere. Because can you remember why it's important not to have methane gas? AB has got no clue. He looks very confused. Can you give me another type of methane gas?
I'm confused.
I would give you some methane gas here now, but we wouldn't be able to stay in here. You get to understand where I'm coming from. Right. Now, methane gas goes up into the atmosphere, nice and high up. The UV rays joins it, and then they take the methane gas, then connects to the ozone layer, which is O3, and changes it back into O2, comes down to Earth, and now we've got a hole in our ozone layer. Right, so methane gas is not a good thing. Okay, so we need to keep that in. And what's nice, I've seen one. I've seen a rubbish dump here in where we are, close by, right? What happened was it was a rubbish dump, and it was a big landfill. And they filled it in, and they filled and filled and filled. And then one day I saw them close it off. And all of a sudden you saw big trucks coming in, and they're closing it with soil. And now, you will not believe, there's a huge pick and pay on it. Huge pick and pay. And it's doing very nice. Now, that is a landfill. They use the land in the best way they possibly can. Okay, so that's nice, okay, to get rid of our rubbish and to trap it, okay? Recycling, okay, is defined as reusing something that is a waste product. Like, for example, we like to prevent waste. So instead of cutting down more trees, how about recycling the paper so that they can make new paper from that exact paper that we had, okay? Computers, electronics. I know there's a place near me that you walk in and you just give your old laptops or your old that are broken, and they take it in. They don't fix it, but they use parts from there to fix another thing, right? And now we've recycled things, okay? That is why it's good to have a recycling bin where glass, okay? It can be recycled so many times, and we can use it for anything we want, okay? That is so perfect. Glass, paper, anything that you've got, okay? So all of that is very, very important. And the best thing of all, right? The best thing of all, we do not pollute our environment, okay? We do not pollute our environment by doing that, okay? Now, lastly, to me, let's use the papers, right? Okay, papers, we need to recycle because we need the trees to go through and suck up the carbon dioxide and give off oxygen, Right, so there's always a ways and means. Right, so I will see you soon. Have a good night. Right, AB?
We love you, Lou, and all the
I
best.
love you
we'll
guys
see
too.
you some other time when we see you. It's been a great year, and thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
You've been awesome.
Good, I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I know I do.
We'll see you next year.
Definitely.
Right. Goodbye to Lou, and thank you very, very much. We appreciate all the work and all the lesson that you brought. Even today, you've opened my insights. I've learned a lot. Got embarrassed, but I learned a lot. I hope you have also learned a lot, because we learn each and every day. There's no one who always knows. But otherwise, from us, we just want to say peace. Thank you.
Okay, one of those. Access to it, right? It might be safe. Oh, it's not the end of the world. It's an earthworm. Okay, there's nothing poisonous in it. Okay, here we go. Nutritious. It's got a bit of protein in there. Hey, what do you think? A bit of protein. Okay, and I suppose it could keep us healthy. I mean, just a bit of protein fills us up in that, right? The problem is sufficient. That's the one I'm looking for. Sufficient. How many earthworms do I have to eat to get full?
Sure, a lot.
That's the problem.
A lot.
By the time I've dug them all up, I'm not going to have enough food, right? I'm going to be tired and hungry again. Okay, so each one of these things have to be there to be able to be food security. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay, so food security is when you have access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food, and it must be able to maintain a healthy living. Okay, so that is food security. Now, this whole definition, right, came from the World Health Organization, and they put it down in 1996. Okay, now, the 4 aspects of food security are, so what they looked at to be able to see food security. Okay, the first one, food availability. Okay, how difficult is it to get food? Okay, what do you think, AB? How difficult is it to get food here in South Africa?
It's not difficult as long as you have money and you can make means.
Oh, there we go. I like that. As long as you have money.
And you can make means.
Well, that's a bit of a problem. What happens if you don't have money?
You can make means like agricultural stuff, farm.
Okay, now think about these guys that sleep under the bridges and that.
You beg.
So you got to find discarding of solid waste, okay, or disposing of it. Now, disposing of solid waste is a bad thing. I mean, where you send all your rubbish is what we're looking at. Okay, so let's begin. Now, understand there's a lot of writing and not much pictures. So try and concentrate, and I'm going to try and put it in the easiest way I possibly can. Right, okay. So food security is the definition for it, right? So it's defined as the following. When all people at all times have access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, okay? First of all, they must have access to it. It has to be sufficient, okay? It has to be safe, and it has to be nutritious. Okay, that's very, very important. And it must be able to maintain, right, a healthy and active life. That is what food security is. Now, if I had to say to you, I'm sure you've all watched these shows where they go out into the wild and they eat a bug, right? Hey, have you seen that, Abby?
Not really.
Oh, you know where they pick up these ants and eat the ants quickly?
Oh, yes, yes, I've seen that. Even on Fear Factor, I get that.
Yes. Okay, now, that's what I fight with. Is that a healthy living? Because, of course, there's protein in all these bugs, right? There's protein in the bugs, but...
But are there people doing that every day?
Maybe. I wouldn't know. It depends on what food they get. But the question is, it might have, right, hold this, it might be, let me just find it. You might have access to it. Okay, this is cool. You might have access to it. I'll run out in my garden and go fetch an earthworm. Hey, how cool is that? Right, one of these. In some way, am I right? Okay, so that is availability, is how you're going to get that food. Okay, it's very, very important. Next one, accessibility. Okay, to have access to that food. Now, cannot remember what year. I think it was 1986 or 83 or somewhere around there, right? It was in Ethiopia. They must have had that big drought. Can you remember that big drought? And what actually happened in that big drought came along and Ethiopia was going to starve to death. Okay, so what they did is they had this huge concert where everybody came to sing and they made money and people brought food, and with that money that they brought even more food, and all those ships stayed at the docks, and nobody was allowed to go there because this person wasn't going to give to that person and this person wasn't going to give to that person, and all that food just rotted. How nice is that? So what a waste of food. Okay,
Sure.
Now that's accessibility. Okay, you're not going to see the guys that are very poor having foie gras or something like that. I think that's a certain stomach or liver or something of the duck. I wouldn't know because I don't eat it. Right? And what's those fish eggs? What do you call those? I'll get back to it. Right. So caviar, that's it. It's caviar, right? Can you imagine the poor eating caviar? It's very, very expensive. Now, that's accessibility, right? It is there, you can have it, but you can't access it, right? So that's the next thing we look at. And then food utilization is how do they use the food? I mean, we all say here in South Africa, right? We have nice apples, we have nice oranges, right? We've got some good grapes, right? Pineapples, all of that, bananas. Am I right?
Vision, which is starting next week on the 14th of October. Then after, download the notes. On the notes, on the last page, there is a race number for you. So it's more like we're on a marathon.
That's it.
So you get a race number. Then what you need to do with that race number.
Yeah.
Are you ready? It's
I'm
like
listening. I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. Right. You get a race number. Then what happens with the race number? You need to complete an entry form, which is found on the Mindset website. I'll be giving you the link on the website, on our Facebook page. Right. After that, you'll be standing a chance of winning 3 awesome Mindset tablets, or 1 of 3 notes and 1 of 3 tabs. So those are the awesome prizes that we have for you. Otherwise, stay tuned, because on the page, I'll be giving you more details about the competition. We're all up and ready. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/LearnExtra, or on Twitter, follow us at LearnExtra. Back to you, Llewellyn.
I'm ready for the race. When are we starting?
We're starting now.
Oh, I'm going to run. Okay, we're looking at food security and loss of biodiversity. Okay, it's quite simple, but we have a bit of a problem between the two of us. We're going to learn something new together. Are you ready for this? You are going to learn about food security and biodiversity, and I'm going to learn how to draw on the board with my finger, because I cannot find the pen for the life of me. I don't know where this pen is. But anyway, let's go for it. Okay, so if we have a look at it, what we're going to do in this lesson, okay, we're going to try and get through food security, right, and availability, because it's different things, okay? Then we're going to have a look at the loss of biodiversity, because that's very important, especially for us. Especially for us, we need to try and stop that. And then we're going to have a look at
Hello to you all, awesome grade 11 Mindsetters. This is yet another great edition of your Learn Extra Live with me, AB, and I'm not alone in the building. I'm joined by Mr. Lou himself. How are you, sir?
right in yourself. You keeping well?
I'm also good. It's quite a sad day for me, hey?
What?
Because I won't be seeing you.
Oh, no. No, hold on. Don't destroy my day. It was fine until now.
Really? Okay, let's say, okay, well, it's fine. The Mindsetters don't know about that. We'll tell them later.
Yeah, well,
Because
of
I
course.
really can't handle bad news, hey? I just need to share, hey?
It happens.
Otherwise, what are we doing today?
We're doing, if you have a look, food security and loss of biodiversity.
Are we eating something?
And I wish
You wish?
I'm starving.
Oh. Well, we'll be drinking my water, it's fine.
That's good enough for me.
All right. Well, I'll tell you about it. I think also it's some part of revision for grade 11s. I believe so.
Say
In
it
a way.
again?
Is it a new topic for grade 11s, or it's just part of revision also?
No, what we do, it's revision, but the most important thing that you've got to understand is you need it for next year. So
Okay.
they've got to concentrate and they've got to understand this. Otherwise, it's not going to get taught in grade 12, but you've got to write a test on it. So hopefully you've got your minds going.
Better be ready. Otherwise, we're here to upskill you and to empower you as mindset, talking about empowerment and mindset. Last week, we took you through to the Samsung Learning Hub, how you can get the content there because it's such a great technology innovation. But now, let me tell you that we have a competition which is called the Learn Extra Exam Revision Marathon Competition. All that is needed from you is to watch our live shows and then also watch our exam